Hello, welcome to Spirituality108, a new podcast series brought to you by myself, Chirag and my friend Arjun.
Hi.
We are a couple of engineers from the Bay Area, and in our spare and free time, we like to discuss topics about spirituality, um, philosophy, the life on this earth and the life beyond, the seen and the unseen, the various forces which keep us here and take us to the life which is beyond the.
Beyond, as you mentioned, as Chirag already mentioned about it, that often in our life we find many incidents or many experiences which take us to a different realm or experience when you look back in the hindsight. That, oh, what has happened in certain, in a particular space in our life. And then we just introspect sometimes and we find that, this is something different than what I was thinking already about that whole experience. And the relatability of that episode or an experience can change your life, your thought process, and your future as well sometimes. And often we also see that nowadays it is very hard to find someone like us whom we can relate in today's world. Hence we see the virtual reality is booming. Hence we see the Marvel universe is going. There are a lot of imaginations around the world by different people, and it's very hard to have a stereotype life, where earlier in the olden days where people had a symmetric type of structure of living life. Nowadays it's like a unique way. So that's why then whenever we meet, we discuss a lot of things about Vedas, about Upanishads, about spirituality, about religion, about philosophies, about everything. And then we just thought that why can't we have a conversation recorded as well? Because you never know. Sometimes you can just find relatable people randomly around the world. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, so that was the aim. That last night when we were talking, we just thought that, okay, why not take this random, incoherent discussion and put it into a medium where it is not accessible just to us, but to people like even in a far-fetched corner of Japan or Africa or a boy in France.
Anywhere.
So even if like a teenager who is just introduced by someone like who is just pondering about questions like, what am I
What-
doing here? Exactly. Right?
Right.
So because the same questions we have faced many times, and we personally have been very fortunate enough to be in touch with
Some sources and people.
a teacher, people, friends who have inspired us and taught us various things. So I believe it's our duty as well as our
Contribution.
contribution.
So we have a phone. Just sorry about it.
So similar questions we have faced, and we personally have been very fortunate to have come across teachers, friends, acquaintances who have helped us personally in our own journey and taught us various different things. And so I believe it's our duty to take the message forward so that someone out there who is looking for things but is somehow not able to be in touch with people can access these recordings and find some answer that we are all looking for in the end. That what are we? What are we doing here? And what should we doing? What should we be doing in order to make this human birth a success?
Also, adding to Chirag's point where he mentioned that some questions are common across all of us, and often we also seen that the relatability of that questions are rare. Like only few people would have these questions in their life at certain instances. Not every day it happens that way. Some incidents can trigger the thing, and trauma can trigger it, or after an achievement or something you feel you are not satisfied or you are not still happy. So then what is the purpose of everything? That just strikes after them. It may happen while driving the car, it may happen on a flight, it may happen in sleep, it may happen while eating something which is your favorite food. It may happen any random time. You just cannot expect it to happen. But some thoughts or some relations can come very naturally, organically. And it's okay to have such, thoughts and questions, and also have some people around the world who can think in the similar pattern, like or fashion, or in the same type of segment what we also think. So we just thought this is a small initiative from our side to record it and also reach out to some resonating folks around the world who can resonate with such talks as well. So yeah.
So talking about resonating, the
Frequency.
topic of frequency, yeah. So the topic of today's podcast is, what if we have lived the same life before? What if we have lived, like as we all know that this is energy can't be created or destroyed. So what if we are just like a bundle of energy who is just being transferred from here to there? We are just operating on different frequencies, and we are just we are just being pushed forward according to our own tendencies. So what if we have lived the same things over and over again, but we still don't learn our lessons? We are still trapped in the circle of life and going through the same repetitive behavior again and again. We just rise up in the morning, we go eat, we go to work, we just have our same coffee from the same shop and meet the same people.
It's a monotonous
life, right?
It's a regular routine. Yes.
So after a point, you just stop and think that what are we doing? Like even animals even they get up, eat, sleep, repeat. So, and we just do eat, sleep, work, play PS5 and then repeat that, right? So, I mean, it just...
What's the differentiation point?
Exactly. So, so that's that if we are just keep on doing this, and if we have been doing this for countless number of births, does the sane man want to do it again and again? After a point, he will just question himself that does it even make sense?
Right.
Will you just like keep on eating the same food every day? No, you won't. If someone gives you like same proportion of food every day, same meal, same diet every day, by second or third day you'll be bored of it. So why do we keep on doing the same things in our life and with no hope or no questioning that is this right? Where am I going?
Right. I think a very valid point Chirag has raised over here. There are two approaches over here. First approach is we see in a very methodical way, which has been going on since centuries. There's a specific way of living in our society about humanity has developed over the years. That this is how you are supposed to be born. This is how you're supposed to live as childhood or your adulthood or your teenage or and then your youth and your middle age and your old age. So there's a stereotype or there's a specific societal norm where people have to fit into it and they have to live the same thing again and again without questioning it, and they find it okay as well. There are some people who find it, okay, why this thing is the same way. So they either take this rebellious, or they are not understood by people, or they are being tagged as something different, outcasted or something. But the point over here is this meaningful to have a conversation where we think that this is something beyond is happening rather than this life? Is this just like an escape velocity phenomenon where I can relate to physics same? You just rotate and there's one point where you find escape point.
Right.
Till that you are continuing your loop around.
You should go on a tangent and just escape that part. Otherwise, you just keep on circulating.
Right. There. So is there a tangent point there in our life? Is there a situation in our life where we have an escape velocity as well as escape phenomenon? Lot of cultures have developed these answers in their own interpretations. Even a lot of philosophies have emerged from the great land of India, Bharat. They have different approach towards this reality of life and death and truth and absolutely. Whatever, you just coin in any frame. You have a lot of interpretations, a lot of approaches to realize this knowledge. Overall, the main purpose is to realize the secret of life and death and beyond, which is still a mystery to all of us. No one has achieved that thing to die and then come back again in the body and tell you what is happening afterwards. So it's all a part of process. We all are learning. But there are a lot of different approaches to this question to how to deal it, and a lot of science and technology to apply and realize this amount of what is that going on beyond this cosmos. Is there a definite answer to it? Is there something which will quench my thirst about this answer? Will I feel patient when I will be satisfied with that amount of knowledge when I get my answers? A lot of things are questions. You just can raise an amount of questions, but you don't know the reality unless something is very solidly satisfying your heart, your mind, and your soul together. So that process takes, I think, an evolution of lives, as you mentioned, that it's a countless number of lives where we take and we do the same thing, repeat, and then after a point we do realize at one stage that I have done it forever and ever, and I'm not getting happy with what I'm doing. Like, we have jobs, we have good paying jobs. We're in Bay Area. A lot of people dream our lives back in India. We have nothing to cry about. We are privileged. But still we are not finding ourselves happy. So we are at the age of 28, 29 right now. Someone in Bay Area at 45, someone will be in 50. There are like millionaire people over there. Okay. Still they don't feel happy in their lives often.
you still want the new Tesla model to make yourself validate in the society.
Yeah.
You still crave for that new launch of iPhones or Teslas.
Yes.
And for the new startup to launch, for the new IPOs to launch. I mean, the race should end somewhere. Right?
Yes. So this is a never-ending phenomenon.
So it's definite that happiness is not in those things, and someone should realize it, because if you keep on going through the same path, you will end up going to the same destination over and over again.
Right. And also, wherever we are, that is one common trait, that we have a society where the comparison is a big thing. Peer pressure is a huge thing, because that's how the society is built upon. You have to look someone to be someone like that. Let's just say in my extended family, someone like my relatives tell someone, their children, okay, look at this guy, he's so successful, be this guy. Now that guy has their own potential, but he doesn't have a chance to express himself or herself. And he has to follow stereotype which is built by me in my own way. Well, I am building my stereotype from someone else. So it's just a chain process going on. And this is what we are discussing about life as well, that you don't end up getting that answers or which makes you happy. So you don't live in a freedom, in a natural free way kind of your life. You are bounded by certain tasks as a human per age factor.
The so-called goals.
At this age you do this age you do this, and if you don't do, your tagged as a failure. You're tagged as someone who's not qualified. People will start doubting you, and that affects you, because that is how the society is operating. It will question you, it will target you, and that starts depression, that starts anxiety, that starts triggering all the things which you keep to ourselves. And this is how we have been seeing the life around us.
Exactly. I mean, we have all gone through a period where we have seen extreme lows, and at the same time, people who have so-called to say worked less hard have achieved super goals. But on the same hand, people who have worked tremendously, they have failed to achieve even basic things.
Yeah.
So there is some
higher power.
There is some higher power which is controlling, definitely.
Yeah, because if it was a very clear case, like it's 2 plus 2 is 4, is 2 plus 2 is 4 for everyone. But some cannot have, even if I do the same answers. Like I remember one incident in my life where we were writing an entrance exam for a job interview or a quality test or something, QA something. And then logical reasoning or something, aptitude test, yeah.
Right.
And then what we saw, that we three wrote all the same answers. We were sitting on this common bench, and only one of us got selected. Now, how that thing could happen? We all three have written same answers for all the things, and just one got a call. And can you imagine how this is destiny? We all have written same things, but only one is writing a. That means this is how applies to life.
If someone has to be there, he will be there.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yes. So that proves that 2 plus 2 is not 4. It is 22 also for some people. For us, maybe 4, but someone can get 22 as well.
So you can say life is not just black and white. It's the shades of grey.
Yes, it's a relative thing.
It's a relative
thing. You can have a number of combinations. For you, something is good. For something is bad for some other person. It's just a relative thing, subjective thing.
Right. Totally.
And yes. Other thing, what we wanted to share from our experience, we have been doing spirituality, reading scriptures, talking about ancient, epics like Mahabharata, Ramayana,
wisdom.
All these things, So we have concluded one thing, that it is good to read, it is good to learn, it is good to apply some logics in today's life. But at the end of the day, you have to be very clear that it's a very subjective world. It's a very subjective experience. I cannot force myself into realizing that life has a certain answer to that, and that is fixed, and it is only my interpretation that is going to be right. You have to be open towards everything. That's what our culture says in India. Be open to the interpretations. Someone has seen life and death in a certain way, other person in a different way, and they have all the interpretations and has to be explored upon. So I personally find it a very unique experience to all of us about life and death, about life's process as a repeating thing or not. Because some people do enjoy it, frankly. Some people like to get birth. Some people like to enjoy whatever they're having, and then they want to do repeat again. I have asked some people.
Yeah, because some people have actually said that there is no life beyond Earth.
Yes.
This is all there is.
Yes. And they want to enjoy as much.
Exactly. So they think that if we have not seen it, it's not there.
So they're exactly fitting in the jigsaw puzzle we are supposed to fit. They're happy with it. They're grateful for the things they have been given in life, and they are also everything is sorted in their life. They're completely okay dying, coming back, repeating the same. If you ask me, will I get my name back if I die? Will I get my education back? Will I die? Oh, I have studied so hard for my 25 years in my life. It will just be taken away from me after a point when I will be no there on this earth. I have to start again from nursery, 12th grade, college, undergrad, masters, and again learn the whole degree for the next 25 years, and then boom, again down. Again, life is just
so that's why this plane of consciousness exists, so that you are facilitated. If someone wants to be here, they will be here. But if someone is craving to go beyond, explore, they will facilitate too.
The manifestation works over here because you are thinking to go out of it, so you can start.
So it works both ways. Like even if you want something, some higher experiences, if you want to elevate yourself to higher dimension,
right,
you can go there.
You can also meet relevant people, relevant folks. They don't need to be right, but you will, on this path, you will definitely meet some people who will get you some other type of inclination towards it, or an answer toward what you're searching for.
I mean, even the podcast, right? We were just watching India West Indies yesterday, and just a random talk about these things, escalated into why not record it? Because we have been discussing this like for the last 6 years. So, and we have talked enough. So why not take it to a medium where someone can
relate to it.
Someone can be helped by it.
And you never know. We might end up talking to that unknown stranger in the world,
and we must also learn from them.
And we can get to learn their perspective, their views about life, their experience about life, their relation about life and death and the entire process. Maybe in a physics dimension, maybe in a chemical dimension, maybe in a biological dimension, maybe in any dimension.
Right.
They can express themselves. But I think the world is huge. The technology is great. We have a great reach to the people, and then we can know how people see their lives and death in their own ways.
Right.
And it's an open interpretation. So we just thought to share this thing with you guys or whoever is watching. We are high from our side. So
going forward, our plan is to bring out weekly episodes, and so this was just an introduction. And going forward, we'll bring out like a series on topic A, topic B, and we also have a couple of friends here who are experts in their own knowledge. Like some are into neuroscience and dharmic studies, some are into the combination of various different fields, like how yoga interprets and what are the effects of meditation on like your
subconscious
mind, your health,
Kundalini and all these things.
So we can explore all these different areas in a very short, concise, relatable way. Going forward.
And it's good to have variety in your reach, because if me and him have a certain type of similar approach towards life, then it's boring.
Right. I mean,
there's no we both know 2 + 2 is 4.
If you're not going to contradict, or if you're not going to learn from the other person, then it's just going to be a bland, monotonous conversation where you're just saying,
Right. So also we will bring out some topics from our Vedic culture, Vedic scriptures, which we have also went through, and how it correlates to this entire thought, or even this process of life and death. So also their interpretation of Indian philosophies, of other non-Indian culture philosophies, we'll try to cover it in future episodes. We are at a very raw stage in our this podcast.
Right, because eventually even the quantum physicists, when they try to explore the dimension of consciousness, they eventually end up with Upanishads and Vedas.
Yes.
Because that's where all the answers are, and eventually they give up physics, they give up quantum mechanics, and they just end up becoming like a yogi in Himalayas, because they know their answers are there.
That's it.
So why explore the physics and the mechanics of it? And when you have the answers ready in the ancient scriptures, so why experiment and reinvent the wheel when you have the answers and experiences ready at your hand?
Right.
So that's
very well said. That I think it's about self-realization. At the end of the day, it's a complete self-realization process. That's why it's called self-realization. It's not just realization. Because if it's a realization, it's a generic word. Everyone should feel the same way. It's called self-realization for a purpose, that you have to experience in your own way.
You have to. It's like someone can't eat food for you. If they're hungry, they have to eat themselves.
Yes.
If they want to go to a theater and watch a movie, they have to personally walk and go there. You can't say, watch the movie on my behalf. It's the same thing here, right?
You have to.
Someone can't go, and you can't pay someone and chant someone down for me. I'll give you X amount and you do the deed for me. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, it has to be a very unique and a self-exploratory topic and relation and an answer that should quench your heart, your mind, and your thoughts in a very, very, very focused and a very concrete clarity way. It has to be very.
You should be feeling peaceful at the end, not craving. Like, you should not have confusion. Having confusion is fine, but then you should be at peace with yourself, with the answers that you have yourself received.
Very true.
So
I think this was good as our first podcast. I would say, where we are starting. Let's see how we also succeed in this type of initiative, and we also like your feedback as well. going ahead at what type of topics you wanna listen or you wanna discuss, because we have our own segment because it was a random call. We had a night out yesterday in watching a boring India West Indies match, and we both actually kept ourselves awake and talked for like almost 8 hours stretch about life and beyond. It was completely unexpected for both of us.
So you can say there's a higher power taking care of this. So
yeah. So anything can happen, as I believe, and he also thinks the same way. So it was good that we recorded this session. Let's see how it goes, and let's see how this thing manifests itself into the universe.
Absolutely. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye. Can you also both Sorry.